There we go, Dad.
Hey
You're
guys,
live.
welcome to another live show. We're just a little late here. No traffic today too. There's no excuse because I left the shop at 3:30. Anyhow, thanks for joining us. It's been a little slow the last couple of weeks. If you're out there and you want to join the chat, that would be great. Patrick, did you address those two comments on that?
Oh, I didn't get the emails, but
Can you do
why don't
that?
you just read them from the phone?
All
That'd
right,
be
but
easier.
before I do that, we're really excited about this new class that we're starting out in Lexington, the Lexington Arts and Crafts. I mentioned it last week. It starts April 1st, and we're booked. We're full, and we also have a waiting list also. So, and they're already booking a second class. They don't have much space other than what they're giving me on Tuesday. Otherwise, I would be maybe if we prove ourselves, we could teach 2 nights a week. But we're really going for this. So, what I'm really excited to be 10 people taking the class. We're going to be live streaming all of it, Patrick. Hopefully, the
Yep, so
whole
we're working on that.
class.
I was working on that today, trying to get it set up.
So for all of you out there who have had questions, people, there are two questions I'm going to read from the email if I can find them. But I think that with 10 projects, we're going to get a wide variety of subject matter. I think there's going to be a really good entertainment value to this. I think it's going to be fun. It's going to be live. So who knows what's going to happen? Maybe a special guest will pop in like Jimmy. Jimmy dressed in his clown outfit, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding about that. But it's on the second floor of this beautiful building in Lexington, Mass, right outside where the green is, where the famous green battle green is. And I'm just really excited about it. I got the list today, the student list today, and we're gonna. I think it's going to be a very interesting class. So what I'm hoping is, the cinematography, if that's what you call it, or the right, Pat, is it going to be as good as the classes, the online classes, especially the paid ones? So
Well,
you guys,
maybe if Tim's going to be helping us, might be good.
yeah, we're gonna have to. We'll see, but you're still in a studio when you have a horse set up with one person student, Patrick. I don't think you can beat that. But what I'm hoping for is that there's so much and there's so many different projects at different stages at different skill levels that people will learn a lot in this fashion. We'll see. It never done this before. Has anybody ever done this before,
I'm
Patrick?
not sure.
Have you ever seen it?
Not a class with someone moving around with a camera.
I don't know how it's going to work, you guys, but I'm really excited about it. I mean, it's almost like Bobby Fischer he was a great chess master, right, Patrick? He, he used to play like 10 people at once, the chessboard. I think it's going to be kind of like that for me, right? I'm going to be very challenged by this, so we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyhow, so let's get to a couple of these. We have some Facebook, Patrick, Jean. Thank you, Jean, for keep on posting. I'm looking at her shop there. Looks like she's got a good sized shop there. Um, she says she's got the front panel on the oversized chair. She's showing me that. So let's just show you that. She's got a plaid chair she's working on. That's a big chair. Notice that the plaid is matched the panel. So she did a good job there. Paid attention to all that detail, which it's interesting. If you don't match it, people will notice. If it's matched, people don't, they just expect it. But it's not as easy as it looks. Good job. And she's got, if you notice, I'm just noticing that she's got a very sturdy set of horses there. And notice the pad that she has protecting the goods, as they call it. That's a good idea. And you constantly, when you're doing that, you're constantly checking to make sure there's no staples on the bottom. Or if you turn the piece, you make sure that you take the chair down and then you clean the pad and then you put the pad back, make sure it's clean, and then turn the chair. You never turn the chair on top of staples. That'd be the worst thing, right? And actually, after you finish a project, what I do is that I do a pat down. I make sure that I go over every inch with my hand to make sure no staple fell in there or a piece of wood or anything like that is sticking out, because that's the worst thing. A customer come across something like that, it could ruin your day. They look at that, they will perceive that as poor workmanship, whereas it could be just that you left a staple. Sometimes upholsterers score skirts, for instance. I don't do it because I don't like this, because sometimes you forget. You score before you stitch it. You hand stitch it. You might score it with a staple, a pin staple. And the only thing is, you better remember where every one of those is. And then if you can't, even if you think you take them all, do that pat down, before you deliver the chair. Presentation is everything when you're delivering. Make sure you got a covered plastic covers, not contractor garbage bags. That doesn't look good. Clear plastic always looks better, and I always have Scotch tape. I'm always taping the piece down. I always take the cushions separately and bag those separately. Presentation is huge when you're delivering. It's just the final step, and you'd be surprised how many people kind of drop the ball at that point, and they're sloppy. Uh, it doesn't pay, even though they do a good job. You could be the best upholsterer in the world if you present yourself as slobby in the end game. It's not good. So good job, James. See what the next one is. No comments yet, Patrick. Where about all our people?
On early vacation.
Yeah. Oh, they're busy. Hopefully they're busy. Well, let's do the other. Oh, this is Deb. Now, Deb is she's the one that contacted me with the email, Patrick. And she had a similar question as I think she's asking about back springs, but what the difference is in tying back springs. So she's got, it says she's posted. This doesn't say anything. Deb doesn't say anything on the
No,
Facebook.
she's just showing off her work.
So as you can see, she's used the red webbing. She's got the springs tied. I noticed she's got a 4-way tie, which is fine. She do the back. Yeah, she's got the back done. So the only thing, Deb, hi guys, hi Elliot, and Susie's here. And Susie says thanks for sharing your knowledge. You guys stay tuned. I don't know if you're coming in late. I was talking about the new live show we have for 8 Tuesdays. There is a vacation in there, Patrick, which we have to announce.
So it is going to be, so yeah, Tuesdays is the day. What is it, next week?
Yeah, next Tuesday,
So I
April
guess next
1st.
Tuesday, if the technology all works out good, we'll be going live next Tuesday.
We're
What
hoping
time, Dad?
we're hoping live, right?
6 p.m., right?
6 p.m. Eastern time, you guys. So check it out.
It's going to be a live upholstery class,
I
right?
think it's going to be kind of like a Seinfeld and upholstery
I
class.
don't think it's going to be as crazy. I think it's just going to be more informative than anything.
Oh, you think so?
Unless there's some characters in the class, you never know.
That could be. It could be. Maybe we should have a guest host or so to come in once in a while. A guest. I mean, not a guest host. Co-host, maybe. All right, let's go to. There's a couple of not many YouTubes. Patrick, I have a feeling after next week. I just have a feeling that after we do that live show Tuesday, I think it's going to explode. Don't you?
I hope so.
Yeah, I think it will. So I don't know much about YouTube, but do they do the subscribers get notifications?
Yeah, I'm going to put it. Well, I'm going to create the live show for Tuesday. It's going to be on there.
Yeah.
We'll have the link.
Okay.
I usually do.
So almost 30,000, or close to it. Subscribers will get that notification.
Well, they'll get it when we go live, but the link will be there if they want to have it early. So they know where to go.
Okay, good. And so the first is the upholstery tool hack, a video that we did. This is from, I always forget, Fern, right? Patrick F. Dort? Fern. Do you have any new full videos coming out? I think we do, right? Would you consider?
Well, I think this solves that, yeah.
Yeah, we have a lot of content, and I think she's asking for more content, Patrick, which is
Oh.
good, right? She says, "What else can I use if I don't have a clincher?" This is a very good question. So in the old days, what we did before clinchers a tool that's about 100 years old, I think. And that's a tool for those who don't know. You put these little, they're held together by paper, these little pointy clips down. You open up the top. It's like they fall into the machine. Call it a machine because anything is a machine with two or more working parts, right? And it's a very simple machine, but they come and then there's a trigger on it, and you pull the trigger. You put those little clips on the rung of the spring on the bottom. You push down, and then you pull the trigger, and it secures the spring to the webbing. And you put 3 of those in each spring. The alternative to that, and some people just take a big curved needle, like a 3-inch curved needle, and with nylon twine, and they'll just stitch around the spring and tie the ends off. I don't like that as much as this is what I do. if I don't have a, if I do not have a clinch it, I like to put two. I like to do a button slip knot. I like to put two twines around the rung, two ends of the twine around the rung, so it's coming out the bottom. It's about 12 inches each, about 14 inches of two coming through the bottom, and then I put a slip knot, and I do that 3 times. I think that's better than just so you have 3 knots instead of just 1 knot at the end where you're meeting. Elliot says subscribers get notification if they're asked for them. It's channel by channel. So Patrick, how many of the people, all the people who have subscribed, how many
Yeah,
percent?
they have to turn on notifications.
You got to do that.
Yeah.
You got to get people.
No, they turn them on their end.
Right, but I mean, what Elliot says, he says subscribers get notified if they've asked for them.
Yeah, so they press the bell if they want a notification. Definitely, guys, press that bell. You'll know when we're live.
So I've never asked people to press the bell. I've never, because I don't know enough about it. He's got to keep reminding me about this thing. But now that I think about it, honestly, I go on YouTube, but I have a favorite, I guess, channel, and I don't think I've ever pressed that bell. Is it that terrible?
Oh,
That's bad, isn't it? I mean, if you like a channel and you appreciate the content, don't you? I think I'm going to make an effort to do that now. If you guys make an effort, so that would be great. Um, so, of all the subscribers we have, what percentage? I wonder, Patrick, what percentage actually do that red bell? Do you have any idea?
I don't know if you can figure that out.
I bet not even 10%. I bet not even 10%. So now you're down to 2,000 people, if you're lucky. That's a lot, right? That do the red bell. What do you think, Mikhail? You have an opinion about this?
I think you're focusing too much on it. I think
I'm not sure. I don't think there's a way to
Yeah.
find that out.
Patrick thinks I'm focusing way too much on them. I guess
people want to do it, they'll do it.
so I shouldn't nag. I
Just a
shouldn't
reminder.
nag. Just a reminder, you guys. If you see that red
Especially
bell,
now, I think it's important because we're doing this class. So you're pretty much getting a $500 class for free.
actually, what you have to remember too, if you're following along in the class and you're following people's projects, you want to remind yourself through the notifications that there's a class coming up because there are breaks in the class. I think there are 2 breaks in this class. I'm not sure what the dates are, but I think I read that. So you might want to get those notifications, especially if you're following along on a project.
And I view this as a test run. We're gonna see. This one we haven't really advertised it online.
Don says, "Let your Facebook community know about the live show, Patrick."
Yes, we will. Well, if this goes smoothly this time, the summer we're gonna do it again, and I'm gonna actually advertise free online class.
Free online. We're gonna get better at this part. We've not done this before, so I think we did a pretty good job on the channel, right, Patrick?
Yeah, we have the paid professional classes, those are perfect, I think. But
They're very very well done. I think from what people tell me, the editing is superb. So you did
and
a
this will
good
be
job.
better for the more casual people who don't want to pay for classes.
Right. And now we got basic fabric cuts. And so when you talk about this thumbnail, let me read this from Leah, uh, and then I'll talk about the class and the different things we're going to see in the class. Let me talk a little bit more about that. One of the best example of cutting I've ever seen, Patrick.
Yeah.
I think she's also complimenting you on the instruction, but also I remember that was a hard one to film because you have to get in the way when you're cutting.
That usually is.
I'm in the way. I think what you did there. Did you have overhead shots on those shows?
I did during the class.
During the class. So Patrick had an I remember that. So you had how many camera angles?
Overhead it was reversed, so it was easy to see.
You had overhead. You had the front. How many different angles did you have?
I think just 2. Just the overhead and the front camera.
At least 2, and then you were adjusting that floor camera too. So right?
So Tim's gonna have he's gonna move around a lot in this class. He's on the camera.
Yeah, I
A
know.
lot of moving and
It's going to be challenging, but I think Tim's looking for experience there too, and that place over there, that Lexington Arts and Crafts, they have more than just my class. So I was thinking, what upholstery I think looks great on film. I think it really comes across really great. I think the reason is style. Everything's a different style, but fabric choices. Michaela is going to be at the class showing fabrics, right, Michaela? We bring
Yep.
some books with you, some books in case people are interested in looking through books in the class, and that's also a whole different element. But I think between the different jazzy fabrics and the personalities, the 10 different personalities and of the students, and the 10 personalities of the chair and the stories. I'm looking forward to the stories of. For instance, I had a couple come in. Their aunt had just passed, and they wanted to do something. The aunt left a chair to them, and they wanted to reupholster it, but they wanted to remember the aunt as a way of remembering the aunt to keep her chair. But they found these coat buttons that she had with her initials in it. They were gold. They did a black fabric. It's a small little like bedroom chair, and they found these buttons, 5 buttons with gold buttons that I used against the black. I wish I had a picture to show you. It really is cool. It really great way to remember a loved one. I would have never thought of that. They were coming. They were going through her things and they came across that. But anyhow, that's that. And any other news, Patrick, or concerns, or uh, we're looking. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm looking at 100. I'm looking by maybe the end of the summer into our second class. I'm really hoping. And Patrick, I don't know if this is. I have a goal of 100,000 subscribers. What do you think?
That'd be awesome.
I'm looking at 100,000 subscribers. So in other words, I don't think the focus. So for all you guys who've been following along and buying the classes, and the serious upholsterers out there who are just trying to gain knowledge, I still think you'll do that in the live these classes. However, I think and I hope that there's going to be an entertainment value to the class that you might enjoy. I think the playing off the personalities and things like that. Don says, "Speak it into existence." That's an expression. Who uses that expression, Patrick? I like that. Speak it into existence. So this is what I'm doing. So by let's say September 1st, we want 100,000 subscribers. And how many of those bell ringers do we want, Patrick? People who
100,000.
well, you're going to go 100,000 bell ringers? Wow, that's impossible. I think. Because, like I said, I'm one of those guys, gals out there who likes a channel and doesn't ring the bell. Why don't I ring the bell? Do I think that I'm going to be hounded by? Do you get emails or something
Yeah, you get notifications on
on the
your
YouTube?
Yeah.
So
You
that's
can have
not
it show up on your phone too.
what.
You can have it show up on your phone too.
Yeah, maybe people are tired of these spam. I know I am. I'm getting like 20 spam calls a day. Probably. I try to block each one, but you know what they're doing now, Patrick? They're very sneaky. They must.
Change their phone number.
Yeah, but they know who you. They know where you're from because I get calls from where I grew up, my hometown, and I look at it and say, "Oh, maybe that's a relative." I'll pick up the phone, and I pick it up, and there's somebody wanting to sell me diapers from somewhere. I don't know why I use that as an example, but it's crazy. It's all about funding usually. It really is nuisance because you're out on GPS and you're looking for a house and the phone rings and the GPS goes off, right, Patrick? It's really bad. Fern's here. Greetings from Nova Scotia. Hi, Fern. I just read your. If you maybe I'll go back to it. Fern had the upholstery tool hack. You can watch it later. I answered your question, so if you could rerun it and look at that, it's an interesting question though, and I'm glad you asked it because they're actually we talked about 3 different ways of anchoring springs, at least 3 different ways. 4 now that I think about it. Malcolm actually brought up hog rings. You can do hog rings too to do that. So there are 4. There's stitching it all the way around and then knot the ends off. There's the clinch it. There's put 3 separate slip knots, and then the hog rings. And I don't know if you guys could think of another one. I think that's it. But anyhow, so I want to talk a little bit about. This is the job. Um, this chair. It was a complete restoration for the people who had the gold buttons from the auntie who passed, and the chair was a little bit more costly because the refinisher that they took it to was called Strip and Dip was the name of the place, and they had to take all the material, everything off. Everything came off. They did a good job stripping it, and then dip it, and it had an upholstered seat, upholstered back, upholstered on. So it came to me with just a frame. So I had to design it to their satisfaction. And I had to put these 5 buttons in. It's really like I wish I had I wish I had a picture of it. So the problem where we are now in the studio is that my work isn't here. So that's one less prop I have to talk to show you and to fill in time here too. So I don't have any of that. So I have to only describe it. Um, so that was that job. Um, we're getting a lot of the economy's kind of halted a little bit. We're getting a lot of repairs. So you guys need to. We do a lot of. We have some YouTube videos. Pat, do you remember on repairs? I think we've done repairs before on the YouTube. There's some. So this is what we're seeing more. So you got to get good at repairs, you guys. So sometimes a repair leads to another job. In this case, a woman brought in a dog eating cushion, and usually I don't go near this, but it's a little slow, so I'm accepting, more work. And I'm glad I did. It's only $75, but she says, "Oh, you know what? I have 2 upholstered seats that need work. Can I bring those in?" So that was another, 450. So instead of a $75 job, it turned into a $525 job plus 2 yards of fabric at 98 a yard. So not bad, So customer service is really important at this point when it gets a little slow, and being kind to people and having a reputation thereof to do that is important. She says, Fern says, "Thanks for responding. I'm sorry I'm late. My son dropped off used furniture this afternoon and I had to break it down in the rain." He means well, laugh out loud. He could have waited until it was a nice day, right? Deb says, "My sofa has back springs. Do I follow the steps for the back as I do the deck and the seat?" The difference is, I'm glad Deb, because I had forgot to address it. It looks like it's okay. It looks like you used the ruby twine for the back springs as well, which I suppose is okay. But oftentimes we switch to nylon twine. It's a little uh, it's a little less bulky because the backs usually don't get as much padding. So oftentimes we switch depending on how much padding's going on the back. But it's okay to use. Yeah, you could do it the same. The problem with back springs is they're a little tougher to tie because usually it's a softer gauge. So your spring, especially with the first tie, your spring tends to slide, twists a little bit. So it's important probably to be doing seat springs before you do a back, just to get used to that tying it, because you have to gauge where you have to loop it first and then pull it and gauge where the spring stands straight up. You've seen my videos, and then tie it. You have to hold it and then tie it. Some people find that nylon twine, the dexterity is that it's a little tough to do that. So it's okay to use the ruby twine, but like I said, the ruby twine is a little heavier on a light gauge spring. So there could be a contradiction there. But it's the same. It's the same it's the same. I mean, oftentimes people do a four-way tie. That might be a little different on the back spring. They don't need as much support. So when you think about the human body and how much support it needs on a sofa, most of the support is in the seat. The back, really, I'm sitting here right now. I'm probably exerting about, I don't know, 15 pounds of pressure or something like that, whereas my full weight is on the seat. Um, Deb says, "What about the horsehair on the back?" It depends. It's a waste to put horsehair on something that has loose cushions, for instance. I think it's a waste. If you're putting springs in, it's obviously it's a pullover bag. So horsehairs are great. If you have horsehair, use it. I mean, I use it over foam, latex foam, rubberized horsehair, cotton. I mean, cotton is not a good example, but for the main batting, I mean. Horsehair, so you probably four-way tie, uh, burlap, 1 or 2 layers of horsehair, depending on what you have. If you have a camelback sofa, sometimes it takes 3 layers of horsehair. So each layer of horsehair, by the way, takes a bigger needle, or you can start with the big needle to begin with. But the more padding you put, the more horsehair you put in, the bigger curved needle you need to go through all those layers. If you have the horsehair, reuse it. Do we have any spring videos on? Do we have any videos on back springs? I don't think so, Patrick. But I think Deb missed the opening where I said on this class that we're teaching. I probably would say it's almost guaranteed at some class. We have 10 people the first class, for instance. If it's not in the first class, it'll be in the second class or in the future. So what we're hoping, and I'm glad Deb brought this up, we're hoping to fill in the content that we don't have with the channel, Patrick, and that's Tim's job. Tim's going to be doing these little shorts, and actually, it's so important that you guys subscribe just to get these notifications, and we got to get Tim on board with some of these comments, what people are looking for, Patrick. Because if somebody's looking for back springs, for instance, maybe Tim can post that as a short.
We have to figure out.
So this solves a problem because I
take
guys,
requests of, well, first we got to see what projects people are bringing in.
We've
And if subscribers want to request a certain tip, we film that part of their project or something.
So we've been very negligent, and I admit it, on answering. Because people write me beautiful emails that I think Deborah wrote one, and there was another one on there that are just wonderful, full of content themselves. And honestly, we just don't have the time to address. We do get enough of these where it is time consuming, but maybe we can do this now with the content. And now when people go on a YouTube channel, I know enough, they can do a search on the YouTube channel, right, Patrick?
Yes.
So it's really important for you to label these, right? Yeah, go. You're going to the post office, leaving me alone? He's leaving me alone. That's always dangerous, you guys. Hurry up. Go out the front to see if Tim's out there, Patrick. Elliot says, Kim Buckminster has a video on back springs as part of his series, what she said, on a camelback sofa. Thanks, Elliot. Fern says, I found out yesterday there is a Nova Scotia channel. We're getting competition, Patrick.
I really like it, though.
Imitation is a form of flattery.
The more people on Upholstery Channels, the better. Get this.
You think so?
Yeah, get this art known to everybody.
Oh, okay.
No.
You're not intimidated by somebody that might come along from Nova Scotia like
No.
Fern, who's better than us. We got a guy down in Alabama.
I don't think anybody can replace him. That's why.
Blair, hi Blair. Blair's always looks, but he does not comment up there. He doesn't tell us he's on there. Patrick.
Too busy.
Blair's doing his own videos. Yeah. So that's good. We like that. So Fern says, I found out yesterday there's a Nova Scotia channel. So excited to find her. Another woman. Guess what, you guys? I looked at the list, my class list, 10 women. Isn't that wonderful? And we have
not one guy.
Not one guy. And we have.
I think it was almost all guys.
It was?
Yeah, there was a couple women.
I think there was only 2 women.
Yeah, I would say.
I'm pretty sure I saw 10. Unless
it's only 10.
Yeah. So it'd be fun. But so Fern says, I found out yesterday there's a Nova Scotia channel. So excited to find her. She was working on cushions that had springs in the cushions instead of the base. Do you have any videos on that process? She had springs in the cushions. Well, I can tell you right now, no. But if that's a good suggestion for a video, but be careful here, you guys. It's very difficult to construct a proper spring and down cushion, a custom, a one-off cushion, because the way these are done, the closing process is the hardest part. So I don't do them. I did a couple of them when springs first came out, but the big obstacle with these is how tight you can get the stitching, and it has to be really tight. It has to end up as a real tight unit, and it has to be smooth. There has to be good seams and all that. It's not easy to duplicate. They have special machines that do this that sew closed, especially. So that they're not easy to do. They're very difficult. So I have them custom made. And Elliot says that's Amy from Artisan Upholstery. And Fern says, yeah, she's answering Elliot. I believe that was her. Small world. Now Elliot said he did spring and cotton cushions for my sofa. There was a picture on Facebook. So Elliot, Um, they're on your sofa. So how are they performed? Because you're looking for performance too. That means that you know. And actually, if you're going to do a cushion, it would be the spring and cotton, not the spring and down. The spring and cotton is more doable than the spring and down. But the cotton, as long as you cake enough cotton over that Marshall unit to really make sure that the springs are covered but good, right? And Elliot says, so far so good. I have to say, Elliot, that's really I'm impressed by some of the people that are students or are doing Elliot as an upholsterer, but some of the things that they do. You'll see this class. There's a couple of really talented people taking this class. You guys won't believe it. Some of the talent. Elliot's friend says she surprised me by using a stapler to tack the cushion covers before sewing. However, I don't know if she left them in. Well, that's interesting. And so Elliot said he used 4 layers of cotton. So that's probably about right. So I assume it's actually it doesn't have to be AAA cotton. As a matter of fact, I was about to say, you know what you could use? There are three. I think there are 3 grades: A, double A, and triple A. I always use the triple A, which is very fine cotton. But Elliot, I have a question. Did you use the A or the coarse cotton in the first rolls? Maybe that might be a good idea because it's even more has more body than the AAA cotton. So these little nuances that we talk about, you're going to see a lot more in the live show. We're going to talk a lot more. All this subject matter will come up because people are very inquisitive, like Deb asking about how to anchor in springs. I mean, you always have to ask the question, and I usually will have the answer, but as Elliot, these ideas, and upholsterers are good at problem solvers. They're the best problem solvers. As a matter of fact, in the United States, we have descriptions of every single job. And the first sentence as in a description of an upholsterer is, I think, if even the opening statement could be government listing, must be able to problem solve. That's like, I guess it's true in a lot of jobs, but for some reason in upholstery, they in the description, it's an old description, by the way. That's what they say, and it's true. So with Elliot, we're all about perfecting our skill and getting really good, and I've told you before, what we're doing is really art. I know it's art. I mean, they used to call upholsterers needle artists. We fell under that umbrella of needle artists. That includes people who do embroidery, who do tapestries, who just do sewing in the machine. We're all falling under that umbrella. But the thing that is unique about upholstery is our artwork is meant to be sat on. It's not just put on a wall and hung there. So that's a real challenge. So when Elliot brings up that he did his own cushions, I'm thinking, wait a minute, did he use all AAA cotton, which is more expensive too, by the way. We're always trying to save money but not cut corners. So saving money on a cushion like that might be the first 2 layers. You use the A. The difference between A and AAA is that A, you can actually see parts of the plant, even parts of the stem, or definitely seeds. But on the AAA, you hardly ever get, if at all, you get a plant, a part of the plant. You see an occasional seed. That's it. It's refined more, and it costs more. So I was just curious. Maybe Elliot can answer if he did. Let's see. He said he used a middle grade cotton for all of them. The cover fabric is on the heavy side, so it wasn't worried about the fineness of the cotton or the few seeds. So if he had a chintz though, or a light colored fabric, sometimes those cotton seeds bleed through to the top, and you can see them. Um, and then so when bonded Dacron came out, so I've been around long enough before bonded Dacron. There was no such thing as bonded Dacron, you guys. When that came out, that revolutionized a lot of what we did, especially because in the 80s we used a lot of lightweight fabrics, and we had a problem with batting. We only had the cotton, and we always used to get to AAA. But if you're using a chintz with a light colored background, you definitely need a buffer between the muslin or whatever you underneath of a batting, some type of batting. It has to be that buffer. But when Dacron came out, it was beautiful because you could get it in thicker layers, and you can split the layers, and depending on what you're doing. I'll just give you guys a hack. When I'm using Dacron, don't always have to staple it. A lot of times, so that's where your skill with the cotton comes in. So that's why you guys look at this channel, I think, because those old ways of doing things, you transfer those over to the newer materials. So when you put your Dacron on, sometimes, and the other thing about bonded Dacron is you can actually use it like muslin and cotton in a way, because you can staple it. But I don't like stapling any type of batting or the top layer of batting before the fabric goes over, because it creates divots. So what you do is you can cut your Dacron down. I'm sure Elliot is clever enough that he's done this. You can't trim a thick piece of Dacron. It's impossible. But you can trim a half a layer Dacron if you know which way to. And there's only one way it trims out better. You get a lot of resistance one way, and it starts to rip. But on the other way, you have to test it out, and you have to hold it. You have to hold it just like you would cotton when you trim cotton. You guys have seen me trim cotton. You've not seen me trim Dacron on the channel. And if somebody were to look at cotton, Patrick, on the channel, if they were to search that, Patrick, the search has to be in the title, right? It's not in the content of the video.
I think you put hashtag, and stuff like that.
So the spoken word can come up. That's what I'm asking.
I don't know. I don't know that word. Possibly.
Maybe with this new technology.
But if the focus is on cotton, I would have named it.
Yeah, but it would have to be in the title. So there's so much content that's verbally spoken that isn't in the title. What I'm asking is, does artificial intelligence, is it advanced enough to pick up even the Boston accent? Maybe not.
I don't know about that, but every word, yeah.
Patrick said, I don't know about that. It isn't that bad, is it? Deb says, this is only my second project. I am following the settee class for my camelback. Sorry to be so specific, but do I split the rubberized horsehair like the deck and seat on the settee video? The reason, as long as it had a cushion, I can't remember. Do you remember if the settee that we did, the video settee, had a loose cushion, Patrick? Or was it an upholstered seat?
Jimmy's one?
Yeah.
I don't think it was loose, no.
Well,
being loose.
listen, Deb, if it's an upholstered seat, I'm not sure. If it's an upholstered seat, you don't split it. That just gets one continuous piece. If it has a loose cushion, the reason you want a seat and a deck is because the seat has to profile higher than the deck. So when you put it on, yeah, you need that higher than the deck in order for the seat cushion to pitch back. So I'm not sure. We can't remember. It's been a while if that was an upholstered seat or not. So Ellie says I think I read that. Deb says settee has a cushion. So you definitely need a separation between the front and the back, or the seat and the deck, in order to do what I just said. And then she says, so the back does not have cushions. That's an upholstered back. If it's a camelback, I don't think I've ever seen a camelback with loose cushions. I've seen them with throw pillows, but that's an upholstered back. An upholstered back is different than a back with cushions. It's because you can't pad out something with back cushions, fitted back cushions. You can't pad out too much on that, because the cushions are the padding. You see what I mean? So, what time is it, Patrick? Really?
Yep.
We've been talking all this time. So I think we're going to wrap it up, are we?
That's you.
Huh?
That's you.
I think I'm all set, unless there's some more questions. I think that was lively. Thanks, you guys. I don't think I could do this without the live chat. Last time, when is the next live?
Well, so definitely check in at what? Tuesday at 6:00 next Tuesday.
So the live shows.
We're having a live.
Are we doing question and answer as well on Friday, Patrick?
Oh, we can still do it, yeah. We can discuss.
Because we're trying to build this channel. We think that we've been kind of lagging off a little bit, right?
Yeah, we definitely have.
So this goal of 100,000, do you think it's doable?
Eventually, it took us 12 years to get to 26,000. So
That's why we're relying on a situation comedy also with this class.
I hope people enjoy it and bear with us in the beginning. It's not going to be perfect.
It'll be fun.
It'll be fun at least. Yeah.
For instance, sorry guys, something came up. I'll have to reply later. When is the next time, Patrick?
But we'll still do Friday next week for sure. But then after that, we'll see if maybe we'll do it the same day as the.
Yes.
And we'll figure it out.
And hopefully, is there any way that people who have supported us in the live chat can have preference when we get really busy?
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. While we're doing this, I'll be at the computer looking at the questions.
Yeah.
So I don't want to disrupt you while you're doing your class, but I guess we'll have the live chat replay there to go over everything after. People during these live classes can ask questions.
Deb says Friday at 4. You should say 4:30, Patrick, because the traffic sometimes is bad.
Yeah.
4:30, okay.
Well, but Tuesday will be on at 6 with this live.
Tuesday
class.
6, and that
and
show,
they can still comment on the. They can still comment and everything.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like a live.
On the Tuesday.
It's gonna be like this, yeah.
So you guys are gonna have 2 live shows each week for at least throughout the summer, probably.
The cool thing to do is give you an earpiece, so I can ask these questions in your ear.
Well, I don't.
That'd be kind of tough.
That would be too hard. I'm not that.
So tune in Tuesday, guys.
Might be. Okay, go ahead, Ben.
I said it might be rough, but at first, but we're hoping to get the hang of it.
Deb says thank you for the help. Fran says thanks, have fun. And John says if I think if we click the thumbs up button, it helps increase views.
Yeah.
I didn't know. You didn't tell me that. What's that, Patrick? The thumbs up
likes.
button. Oh, the likes.
Yeah.
Okay. The bell.
Oh my God.
The bell.
I think you're a YouTube sensation.
I don't know. Yeah. Elliot says Tuesday is April 1st. Are you pranking?
Oh yeah. Are you sure you want to do it on Tuesday?
I forgot about that, you guys.
Well, it might end up turning into a prank, Elliot, because let's see how good this is.
We don't know. We don't know. All right, guys. Listen, we'll see you later. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, guys.